consciousness. Master says yes, but before that, Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karvavahe Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahe. Your mind is carried by some discomfort, so is not able to listen it clearly. So you see that Mangalacharan is very, very important, necessity. It is not just a ritual. It is just a practice to take your mind back. Mind is 100% available. So the message in this mantra that let us heed the existence, protect both of us together, nourish both of us together, work so that we work together with a great energy. Here comes the intellect with a higher level of awareness. May our study be vigorous and effective, and we should not have any duality or envy against each other. The ultimate journey to this, to find, to realize, to abide in that consciousness. When I say that we are consciousness or the real self of the nature of peace, happiness, love, truth, and wisdom, if we are, if I'm adding the word if, then why I don't recognize it? Why don't realize I should have that state since my birth? When it is permanent, it means it was present at the time of the birth also. And it is present in the time of the pain and outer challenges. Why it is not so? So it is not so because we have a doubt regarding the validity of the teachings. Why we have a doubt? Because we have been exposed to the world outside, the objective world, and that objectivity constantly haunts us and reminds us, and it puts us the level of ignorance. Then there is a second challenge, doubt regarding the object to be realized. What is the object to be realized? What is the goal? Goal is to realize the real self. I cannot see the real self. How can you say? So the mind instantly goes back to this perception by the senses, as if anything that is perceived by the senses is true and whatever is not perceived by the senses is false. You cannot see the mind, you cannot see the thought, feeling, emotions. You cannot see the atom, molecule, energy, particles in the atom. Our mind does not go there. So that is why the journey is taking the sign. So that is the second challenge. And the third is the restless mind jumps from one thought to the another. Even while listening to me, your mind constantly jumps from one thought to the other. And the fourth challenge is what we say ignorance. Ignorance is not illiteracy. It is simply, see, I know that I do not know the real self. I know. And that knowing, not knowing the real self, is ignorance. It looks simple. Very simple. We have to contemplate and reflect to get rid of these four challenges. Once you get rid of the four challenges, you have to do nothing. What it means? I'm already a real self. What I have to do? I'm already real self. I'm already of the nature of peace and happiness. Where is the problem? So, but I have to get rid of those four challenges. In order to get rid of those four challenges, the goal becomes clear. There is a twofold goal. One is the end of suffering, and the second is awakening. Awakening to what? Awakening to what we are. Permanent happiness, peace, love, truth, and wisdom, when all the time. Where? In all the locations. With whom? In every relationship. That means 360 degree. That is what you all have understood, that 360 degrees. So once we have that clarity of perception, okay, this is the way the journey has to go, then we have to understand the steps of the journey. And I have already repeated a couple of times, the first step of the journey is the Mangalacharan. I have to set the tone. I have to set the context. If I don't set the context, you wake up in the morning and you have a stress, so your mind is engaged in the stress, or upset, or mood swing. But that pertains to the mind, that does not pertain to the real self. So you see that I need to understand the 360 degree. Otherwise, I cannot follow the path. And then I will brand this mantra as all a ritual. Why? You tell me something real. It is not a ritual. It is not a ritual. I have to follow. I have to follow. In any scientific experiment, you say, no, these 5 points are ritual. No. Microscope is ritual. You tell me the truth. No, I cannot see the cell. So, long back, I used to compare scientific research and research in the real self. So Mangalacharan. So we have many mantras, thousands of the mantras. Pick up any mantra. I have to set the context. Every time I treat the path of the self-discovery. Second is Anubandha Chatusaya. I think I discussed it briefly last time. Anubandha Chatusaya means now, after setting the context, what should be? I structure the inquiry. So when I structure, you see the systematic approach, very logical approach in the journey of the self-discovery. We structure the inquiry, we frame the inquiry. What we are seeking, who is seeking, and what should be the result, and from where we get that knowledge. In scientific discovery, we have a basics, tools and experiment. What knowledge will reveal, by that experiment we have to wait. So in this journey, what we know, we already know the goal, it is within me. But I don't realize, based on that we have to structure the inquiry. So you see the transition from Mangalacharan, the first step, to the second step is structuring, framing the inquiry. Now, what is the next transition from fourfold connection to the next step? So the next step is, obviously, I have to look at myself, whether I'm capable of doing the inquiry. People go for meditation. Oh, I will do the kundalini meditation and this meditation and that practice. Yesterday I had this guy who told me, and I gave him a couple of postures. He has certain digestive problem. So I said, do only the 3 postures. Sir, is it possible that I also do sun salutation? I said, you are not a doctor. So what happens in yoga and Eastern wisdom, we extend our mind unnecessarily. Oh, I can do this also. That doesn't work there. We have to be very clear. So the transition from the structuring the inquiry now comes to me. Whether I'm ready. Now I'm ready. Saying I'm ready does not work. Now I'm ready to participate in athlete in Olympics. No, I'm ready. That is the willingness. After willingness, I have to prepare myself. I have to earn the capacity I have to earn the qualifications to be ready to participate in the Olympics. Simply say, and in Eastern wisdom we say, I'm ready. Or what should I should do? Should I close my eyes? No, close your eyes. Close your eyes and fall into dream, fantasy. So that will not work. And that is why majority of the people take these things. So the third step I have told you, the fourfold qualification. The second is fourfold connection. I have to structure the inquiry. I have to connect the dots. And in the third step, now I have to check myself. I have to start gaining the capacity and readiness to do the self-inquiry. Good. Readiness to do the self-inquiry. So now what happens in that journey, I have intellectually understand all the fourfold practices, fourfold qualifications. They are purely all intellectual, all mental. But what to do with my life outside? I still behave in manner of anxiety. I still have score to settle with lot of people in the world. What to do with those attitude and behavior? You see the beauty of this journey. The master says, no worries. You have to do the karma yoga. Karma yoga means I have to change the inner attitude. Outer action is the same. You see, take an example. I'm talking to you, I'm teaching you. So the teaching will remain the same, but inner attitude has changed. So how to bring about that change in attitude so that I do not remain a consumer. I do not remain selfish. So when I do not remain selfish and a consumer, what happens? It purifies the mind. I discussed about the 4 challenges of the mind. Those 4 challenges of the mind start dropping and dissolving. So in that process of fourfold qualification, intellectually level, and then you are putting into the practice by doing all your activities as it is. You don't change anything outside. Inner attitudinal change brings a beauty of the mind. It purifies the mind. So that is the 4th step. And then we have to transition step by step. It is such a beautiful, once you understand it, every day you remember and remind. Oh, journey, you say, okay, you are not in a hurry. You don't get into anxiety. You don't get into stress. Oh, this is a part of the journey. I have to continue. That makes you a great seeker in this journey. So what happens after doing the karma yoga? When you continue to do the karma yoga, so there is an element in the karma yoga. You start realizing that there is no duality. It is only one existence. We all are the part of that existence. So in the 5th step, what happens? You are attached to someone outside, something outside, some gadget outside. Now you are attached to that existence. So attachment to the world outside causes the suffering, and attachment to that existence liberates your emotions. You don't have that emotional dependence. You look at the way the journey is taking place. So you have purified the mind. After the purification of the mind, you say there is only one existence. So why shouldn't I love that existence? So when you love that existence, so attachment to the world now goes to the attachment to the existence. What is attachment to the existence? I just gave you a brief. We will talk in detail. We will understand in detail. So I love the existence through Jerry. I love that existence through David. I love the existence through Dennis, through Stephen, through Terry. It is not that, let me close my eyes and love existence. Then you land up nowhere. There is nothingness. There is nothingness. Do you see what the statement I made? I love that existence through Stephen, because Stephen is in front of me. I love that existence through a particular situation thrust upon me in my life. You see, that's a very typical. So we will talk about it. And that is what we say in yoga is a part of bhakti yoga, yoga of love. So you have stopped being a consumer. Now you become a contributor. All the time you are in love with that existence. I'm just giving a glimpse of it. It is only the fifth step. And then what happens? Now you see that there are two things happen. I'm just giving a glimpse of the 9 steps. The first step, I told you, Mangalacharan has to be done. It is not a ritual. You pick up any mantra. You have to sit down, contemplate and reflect. Then check the mind. Is the mind ready? Yes, my mind, you are ready? Go to the second step. Second step is the structure, framing the inquiry. What is framing the inquiry? What is my subject matter? What is the goal? Am I capable? Am I qualified or not? From where I get the knowledge? Everything is structured. So then I transition from the second to the third step. Third step means, I have to check first before treating the path. I have to make myself qualified. So there are fourfold connection. But when I start understanding that fourfold connection, which includes, discernment, dispassion, 6 treasures of the mind, you bring the mind to the state of the calmness and relaxation in every situation. What happens? Then you have an intense desire for awakening. Now you listen to my talk, or whenever you listen to the talk, then you have an idea, then I should have a desire for self-realization and or awakening. But after that, you get engaged and you forget that. So once you follow this fourfold connection, fourfold qualification, your mind is constantly engaged in the self-inquiry, self-discovery. So now mind is fairly calm and relaxed and peace. But the problem comes, I have lot of habits and instinctive and impulsive responses in the world that I have earned since my birth in living in a different situation in the world outside with my family, with my honey or whatsoever. So I have to bring about that change in attitude. Otherwise, it will constantly accumulate the impression. I will go back to the same state. Look at the beauty, the way our masters have laid down the entire journey at every step, if you are willing to understand. So that is what I explained you, the karma yoga. But karma yoga does a lot of things. It purifies the mind, but that emotional level still remains, the sentiment. We become sentient. Why? Because we are still deeply attached to the world outside. So the master says, instead of getting attached outside, no, now you get attached to the existence. How I am attached to the existence? Now what I said, do you still remember? I love the existence through Stephen. So I'm attached to that existence through the Stephen. Now ask yourself, will your attitude change or not? You see that? We have to understand those steps, that how we can achieve. So you always love that existence through that situation. Situation is good or bad. People are good and who cares? Who cares? Your mind adopts a different tone, different expression, and still you are in love with the existence. So now what happens when you follow all these first 5 steps? the restlessness of the mind. I told you the four problems: the validity of the knowledge, the doubt regarding the object. Object means the doubt regarding, oh, if there is a real self or not, and the ignorance. So check up out of these four challenges our mind has. The first three challenges are almost minimized, reduced. So now I have to set myself to the real self inquiry. That is our sixth step. So at the sixth step, you have to simply listen to the teacher, contemplate and reflect, and move into the non practice. You start the journey at a very higher level. Now it's like, the space station, where how the people work. In the space station, the weightlessness is there. That is the real journey of a seeker. You instantly pick up what the teacher is saying, contemplate and reflect. It is absorbed. And that is why I said from the sixth step, you more or less you move to the non-practice, practice, non-practice. Someday you feel that you are absorbed into meditation, let me do it. And you are absorbed for hours together. Someday, you don't sit ideally, but obviously your state of the mind is the same. So that reflects the seventh step. That reflects, oh, today I was in that state of meditation. There are 7 states explained by the Patanjali. And then you alternate on those states, and that results into not only an understanding and inquiry about what exactly is the awakening is the 8th step. So we have a taste of the, is the awakening not present in the first step? Yes, it is present in the first step. It was only 1%. 99%, 4 problems were covering up. So as you continue to proceed from one step to the second step, now you start recognizing, yes, there is. You need not a validity, you need not a confirmation. You confirm yourself. But still what happens? Lot of past impressions are still there. So in that awakened state, you take care of those past impressions. So that takes few years after that. It is not easy to remove those past impressions even after awakening. You have $1 million, so you don't know what to do, or what are the things to purchase, what are the things to buy, or to just do the fixed deposit. So that is what I told you the 9th step is, the joy of conscious living. So now you are living into the joy of conscious living. Say, for example, my master lived in the Himalayas in the very deep snow for more than 8 to 9 years. So after 20 years, he got awakened. So what to do with the body living in the snow for 8 years? The body has to undergo the change. So when he, after 60s or 70s, he developed an acute pain, freezing of the knees. But awakening was already there inside. So he dealt with those challenges with, no, after awakening, my knee pain will go away. No, awakening is not for knee pain. Awakening is for a greater and a higher purpose. But it will be reduced. It will be minimized. But it pertains to the body. Body is constantly changing. Awakened state is at the real self. So people do not understand it, and they start arguing on these steps. So that is what we have been doing. We have been laying a foundation by the 360-degree understanding. And I explained you the 360-degree understanding. I'm not repeating, except that understand only one thing, and keep that in mind. As a teacher, I know the whole picture. I went through those challenges. I know the whole picture. What you are learning is a part of it. Because I cannot give you the whole picture in one day. It has to be done step by step. So when you learn the one step, you have a lot of doubts because you don't have the whole picture. That is what the masters have been saying. Please go through the entire picture. That is why we say consistent listening and learning, contemplation and reflection helps you to reach to that path. Let us dwell a little deeper. The first step, what I said, setting the context. Every day in the morning, even your mind says it is a ritual, do it. After that, you contemplate. Whether you pick up any mantra, Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu, may there be happiness for all. And your mind will remind you that I made someone crazy yesterday. There your mind will change. But if you don't remember, if you don't perform this ritual and the mantra, your mind will not remember. You will accumulate those impressions. Are you getting it? Say yes. That is why our masters recommend, continue. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. And I made someone stressed because of my attitude and behavior yesterday. So your mind reminds you, mind resolves, I'm not going to do it next time. So there is an inner change comes by the Mangalacharan, by these mantras. Or if we take it intellectually, then nothing happens. I have to bring that intellectual understanding to the level of my mind, to the level of my daily life and behavior. Why? For the sake of others? No. It happens by default. Others also gets benefit. But where is the intention? Intention is in my mind. Am I able to remain in the state of the calm the moment I wake up in the morning until I sleep? The whole day passes peacefully and in the state of the calmness and the joy. Think of the power of Mangalacharan. It reminds you, today I had a couple of these events where I lost my awareness, and I know why I lost my awareness. I resolve not to do it. Is it helping in my journey to the self-discovery? Yes, that is what it is helping you. Today, totally calmness. Second day, it is purely in that state of calmness. Third day, fourth day, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. You are already into a different state. You are living into that state, which is totally different. And at the same time, if it is supported by the second step, Anubandha Chatusaya, we say fourfold connection. In the fourfold connection, we frame the spiritual question. We frame the question related to the self-discovery, and it is very clear. What is the self? That becomes our subject matter. If I know the self, what will be the result? End of suffering. So who is going to take up the journey of the self-discovery? Am I ready? Now let me grab a cup of tea first. I feel bored listening to your talk, and then I will dwell on the second step, you are already lost. Restlessness, dependence on something outside. It does not mean that you should not take coffee. I'm not saying that. But at that moment, when you are into the journey of the self discovery, you miss the point. And the third step, then okay, I have to get rid of these errants and these agitated states of the mind. So we say it is agitated state of the mind. During the talk, during the practice, you remember coffee. That is an agitated state of the mind. You have done everything, take anything that, no, it does not mean that take everything. You have to be mindful. So then comes then I recognize my areas where I need to improve upon. Improve upon. So how to improve upon? I have to absorb my mind. I have to soak my mind into the fourfold qualifications. Fourfold. So I have to pay more attention to that is what I also, we are discussing the power of viveka and the power of discernment on Mondays and Thursdays. So the first is the power of discernment. Power of discernment, as it goes on increasing, it results into dispassion. Power of dispassion goes on increasing, it results into awakening of the six treasures. And if these six treasures goes on increasing in quality and the quantity in life, it will never forget in any situation that my goal is to find the real self. That remains intact. That is what the third step is. That is the meaning that we prepare the mind. I cultivate the discipline and I cultivate the discipline to get the mental maturity. You can simply say a sense of mental maturity, the intellectual maturity. I get now my goal is very much clear. The way I am saying on the fourth and fifth step, I said that, well, I love the existence through Janice. I remember the goal of my life through performing personal duty, professional duties, social obligations, do everything. Again, it's a caveat, do everything should be mindfully done. You see the level, the way one step transitions into the second transitions into the third. So today I just wanted to help your mind to understand that there is an easy transition. And if there is no easy transition, there are a lot of blockages in my mind that I have to recognize. Every day I will see whether it is I'm making a transition. No. What is the blockages? I have to recognize. When you recognize those blockages and you get rid of it, so you are moving smoothly to these. So understand the three steps and then we will pick up the third. First is the Mangalacharan. Second is the structuring the inquiry. Third is the Sadhana Chatusaya, means now I have to prepare the mind. So you see that Mangalacharan, first step. Second step is the framing the inquiry, and third is the Sadhana Chatusaya, the fourfold qualification. It's a sequential progression. Look at the reasoning, understanding. The three steps follow a logical sequence. You miss one, you miss everything. With each step building upon the foundation laid by the previous one. The Mangalacharan prepares the foundation to structure the inquiry. Structuring the inquiry lays the foundation. Oh, I have structured the inquiry. You write down from tomorrow I will do this, but you forget it. How not to forget it? I have to prepare the foundation. I have to prepare the mind so that it doesn't forget. I create a very rosy picture in the night. From tomorrow I will wake up at 5, I will practice meditation, I will not speak anything nasty to my honey. I have written it. But the next day you do the same thing, you repeat the same thing. After that, the, the next day you wake up and then you look at your agenda. Oh, I have thought of it, but I did the opposite. Preparing the mind. So the third transition is preparing the mind. So that is what we have to cultivate these essential qualities inside before we reach to that state. Before we become a greater level of a seeker, Mangalacharan. See the first step. More you do it, you will recognize a sense of humility dawns in your mind. A sense of humility, receptivity. In Dennis' session, one guy wrote to me that I cannot pay. I said, don't pay. Learn it. Learn it. You are committed. Learn it. Receptivity. Also, Dennis is taking care of that session. So you see, your mind is different. It doesn't mean that you harm yourself. You have to meet your basic needs. But you foster a conducive mindset by Mangalacharan. And when you set a conducive mindset, it also helps in your personal life, your professional life, social life, family life. It changes your attitude. Your intellect says, hold on, don't react, wait, understand it, and then express. And then there is an easy transition to the fourfold connection that develops internally. You don't know what is discernment, but it develops discernment. It develops a state of the calmness, a restfulness. You're not in a hurry all the time. Why I should be in a hurry? I'm ready 5 minutes before. In the very beginning, couple of years back, there were some issues with the internet, but then I check every time, 5 minutes before, 10 minutes before. Internet connection is all right. Let me check. Can I open the browser? Can I open the... It happens almost in every activity of your life. And when it happens in every activity of the life, will you be fully busy? You are pursuing the path of the self-discovery, but on the other hand, because of the change in the mental attitude, you also take care of your personal, professional, social, and the family life. Now it's striking a balance. I told you in the very 360-degree understanding. You strike a harmony. So then you go to Anubandha Chatusaya, that the fourfold connection, and then you start preparing the mind. It's a progressive refinement in the focus. Your mind starts getting a progressive refinement in the focus. You'll start speaking the way I'm speaking. There is no issue. Because your mind internally is getting changed. The first step, Mangalacharan, it develops your interest in curiosity, in the spirituality, in the journey of the self-discovery, and the fourfold connection, it takes your interest to a serious level, to a serious reflection on the life's fundamental questions. Who am I? What is this? Every time I'm passing through anxiety, duality, conflict, relationship, problem, and host of other issues. Can I bring my mind back to the fourfold connection? And then the mind recognizes and realizes, oh, I have to prepare the mind. I have to prepare the mind So, in preparing the mind, we have four steps. For that is why it is known as the fourfold qualifications. First qualification is the viveka. Second qualification is the dispassion, or you can say non attachment. Third is the six treasures. We will talk about it. And the fourth is the mumukshu. Mumukshu means that you have an intense desire, longing to know the real self all the time. So this is preparing for sixth and the seventh step. I discussed about it, karma yoga and bhakti yoga. So once you have a strong longing about the real self, nothing can prevent you to reach to that state. I hope you might have understood in a different way. So I reversed the process. I discussed about the three steps and how the three steps takes you to the 360-degree understanding that form the basis. And we reach to a point, if I complete my fourfold qualifications, I strike the harmony of the outer life. And when I strike the harmony in the outer life, then outer life, whatever the situation is, you are getting $1,000, you are getting $50,000 a month. You are married or single. It does not make any difference. Physically, you are challenged or not. You have struck a harmony. Internally, your mind, that mental maturity is there. Intellectual curiosity and the willingness and commitment is there to treat the path of self-discovery. That is why even a weaver, wherein we were talking about Kabir, that weaver became one of the greatest masters. He is the Rumi of India. Maharshi Raman, while he just kept lying down in a corpse pose. So that willingness, that intense desire in the mind asked him that if I am not the body, then let this body leave me consciously. And he kept lying down in a corpse pose for hours together. 2 days, 3 days. That intense desire reaches to that format. Close your eyes. Yadi deham prathakratya chiti vishramya tishtasi. We will do nothing. So what I do, I lay a foundation of the non-practice in every session so that they both, the talk, the understanding, they both go together and help us to continue the journey. So the place, you are aware of the place where your body is sitting and awareness of the space. You are comfortable. Okay, you are comfortable. And you are carefree. So we did it just quickly and then we will go deeper. So now see the knowledge part. What the master is saying? Master is saying if you separate mind from the body, is it not separate? It is already separate, but we recognize it is not. Hence, we have to, by knowledge and understanding, by awareness, we have to separate. When you separate it, then we see what happens. That is our experience. That is our experience. Awareness of, let us take that format, awareness of the space outside. The space and that awareness are separate. We connected our awareness to the space. We realized, yes, the space is different and separate from this awareness. I believe it is clear. So, why we need a restfulness and a focused mind, so that mind can stay for a sufficient period on this understanding. What is the understanding? The space outside is separate and different from me. Awareness, space, and in between there is an understanding. I am aware. I am is the seer, the knower, and the space is the known, seen. But you need not to puzzle yourself. Simply remember, to have a knowledge through the mind, we need a knower who knows some object. We need an object of knowledge, the object of knowledge, and then the knowledge. 3 points. Just remember 3 points, and that will take us, simply that understanding will take us deeper. I know you. So I am the knower, you are the known, and there is a knowledge between it. And if you say you know me, then you are the knower. I am the known for you, and there is a knowledge between it. You see, it is easily explained, but to live into that state demands simple awareness, not complex. It demands a common sense. So, the same way as the science concludes, we also conclude that there are, what is the operating principle in the knowledge? First operating principle, there is a knower or the seer, you can say, or the observer, you can say. In the second principle is the known, means the objective reality. Knower is the subjective reality. In between the two, there takes place the knowledge. I know my room. Have that knowledge. Room is the known. I am the knower, observer, and there is a knowledge. Then, if I say, do you know the body? You will say yes. So there is a knower, and you know the body. So, if our operating principle is right, what it means? I know you. So I'm a knower, and you are the known, and you are always separate from me. Apply the same principle here. I know the body. Means what? How simple it is. Based on that principle, I know the body, so I am the knower. Body is the known. And I'm always separate from the body because I know it. Anything known is always separate from you. I'm making so simple. Why the mind goes back, I am the body, attachment, desire, impurity. Did you understand this? And desire, impurity, attachment causes the identification, and the mind doesn't allow you to see that separation. I'm explaining again for the sake of understanding and awareness. I know the monitor through which I'm seeing you. I know the monitor. It means I am the observer. Monitor is an object or known, and the monitor will always be different and separate from me. I see you. You will always be separate and different from me. I believe you're getting it. So this is the principle I have to apply. One thing more. And that is what amazes, especially me, of the masters, the way they have understood. What is the property of the knower? As long as I am the knower of you, for example, Dennis, that knower does not change. Known always changes. How long I know David and Jerry, so that knower does not change. Every time you come in front of me and I know, the knower knows you are David. But you have changed a lot as a known. Same way. So third principle I introduced. What is that? The knower with reference to the known does not change. We're getting an idea of the changeless. And whatever is the known is changing. Now come back directly. I know the body. Just experience, feeling, sensations. Everything is okay. Don't worry about it. You're applying a common sense. Now I feel some sensation in the right arm. It's okay. It's body. I know the body separate. That I is the knower. Body is the known. That I does not change. And that the body is constantly changing. Which is clearly visible when you say, I know the breath. Now see, I know the breath. The experience and the understanding becomes very clear. Every breath is a different breath, a new breath. So it means the breath is the known, breath is changing. And the one who is aware of the breath is not changing. Now can you understand why Buddha says be aware of the breath? Don't focus on the breath. When you focus on the breath, there is an effort. An effort means that I have an impure mind, and that is why I'm making an effort. So first you have to purify the mind, you have to reach to that state. Then you say, I am mindful of the breath. We don't say I am focused on the breath. Normally people use it. So I know the breath, and I am using so simple. I know the breath. So I am is different from the breath. Why? Because I know the breath. What do you mean? Breath is the knower, known. I am the knower. Oh, then your mind says the knower does not change. The known always changes. Known always changes. You know why I say when the known changes, especially with reference to the body and the mind, you think that you have changed, and that causes the stress. So the master says, Yadi deham prathakratya chiti vishramya tisthasi. I know the body, known and knower. This is what the master means intellectually, mentally. I have separated the body from me. And then the master says, Chiti Vishramya Tishtasi. This mind enters into the restfulness by itself because now mind has already recognized I am not the body, so mind is not going anywhere. And the mind rests within. In that state of the restfulness, I experience peace and happiness. I experience peace and happiness. Three principles. Anytime any experience comes to your mind, that experience is known. And what is known is different from the knower, you. Any feeling, any sense. The moment you become aware of the sensation, that is also known. Aware of something is the known. But on the other side, there is an awareness, and that is the knower. You need not to do anything, just an understanding. The moment I say, oh yes, Terry, how are you? So that process goes on instantly. Terry is known, I am the knower, understanding is in between, and mind expresses, oh, you are Terry. It happens so fast in a fraction of thousands of milliseconds. We mix up the knower and the known. Patanjali says when you mix up knower and the known, you are in ignorance. Where is the way? Vivek khyati viplava hanopaya. You have to separate the knower from the known. Not physically, by cognition. Or you can say by awareness, or you can say by understanding. And that takes you to a deeper and the higher state of mindfulness or meditation. So your mind in the mental maturity, your mind has a two-sided arrow. One arrow hits at the knower and the other arrow hits at the known. And what is that arrow? Is your awareness, is your understanding. Another way to understand. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your awareness on the right hand, your awareness on the left hand. Lift your both the palms, place it on your eyes. Open the eyes inside the palms. Know your experiences. Bring the hands down and share our experiences. And your reflection. How are you, Stephen?
Good, sir. Thank you very much. I think I've gained some clarity in today's lesson. I think. I've been hearing you say several times in the last few weeks about doubting the teachings, and I never understood it. I was like, I'm not sure what he means, and I'd contemplate and reflect on that, and then I started realizing that contemplation and reflection can't be in just a moment or a single topic, but it has to be holistic. And today, I think I finally realized that the doubting of the teachings is the idea that if the masters have laid out a 9-stage process to reach self-inquiry and awakening in the real self, it has to start at stage 1 and go to 2 and 3 in that sequence. And I can't skip anything in between, because that's where doubting the teachings come in. It's like building a house. You can't just put the wall up without the foundation.
Yes.
So it seems right. I hope I'm right, and we'll continue to contemplate and reflect with all of those along the way. So thank you.
Beautiful. Yes, yes. Without building a foundation, I cannot create an erective wall of the house. You rightly understood, and you deeply pointed out it's a doubt about the validity of that knowledge creates a sense of, or you can say it is an impure mind, which creates a sense of, okay, you are talking of the rites and rituals, what I have to do with the mantra, tell me straight away. And I'm missing the point. I'm not preparing a foundation. So when I'm not preparing a foundation, I cannot reach there. Yes, you invoked a very good point. Very good. That's a good way to reflect. How are you, David and Jerry?
Thank you. I always enjoy Saturdays. For me, I kept reflecting back to what Dennis said. I think it was on Thursday when he was talking about playing a video game and overseeing the character in the video game. And for whatever reason, I kept reflecting on that and through today's thing. And it's like when you watch a movie or you watch a TV series and you get like tied into the thing and you're like attached to it and you're like, oh my God. But really, when you step back and look at it, you're just being entertained. And to Dennis's point on the game, he's being entertained. And I think with life, we get attached to these things that occur and we think they're ours. And what we need to understand is that we're just being entertained, and we need to just back away and just come to our real self. So for me, it was very practical, one that I'll listen to several times because there was a lot of gems in there.
And it is the same thing which I talked about it. The entire world of events, relations, personal, professional, and social level is nothing but the computer game. That keeps changing. I do not change. So what that I is the knower, and the known keeps on changing. When I mix up with myself with the known, identify or attachment, I'm lost. That is what you said with the reference to the computer game. And the moment we have that level, keep on reflecting, pick up any metaphor, and you reflect on. It helps us to reach to the higher state. How are you, Jerry?
I'm good, thank you. Your mention of just invoking the mantra when you are practicing the mantra, or anytime you hear the mantra, if that automatically invokes that sense of knowing and seeing what is real and what's false in everyone.
In everyone.
And every being, like you said, you love through Stephen and Dennis and Terry and David. And if we really do, then we contribute in such a beautiful way to this ever-changing life that we're living.
Beautiful. Rightly said. You touched upon totally a different perspective, and that too is a part of the entire journey. The moment I say, may there be happiness for all, so I'm not looking at the age, gender, beauty, or no beauty of a person or an event or a situation. I'm looking what is the essence behind it. And the very essence is the consciousness. Very essence is that consciousness is I am. And once I see that I am, and then at the same time, operating principle, I am is consciousness, is different and separate from everything that is known. Known is constantly changing. So yes, that is why I said Mangalacharan lays a very strong foundation the more we contemplate on that. How are you, Dennis?
Thank you for the great lesson. But in meditation, my mind came up with a question. I have a few ideas how to answer it, but still I want to run it by you. When we say that the knower is different from the known, what about the statement, I know that I am the real self?
Yes.
There, the known cannot be different from the knower.
Yes. Yes. Very good question. It's a very deep question. What he is saying that when I say I know Dennis, so it means Dennis is different and separate from me. Now I change the statement. When I say I know the real self, then the real self is the known, is different from I am. This is what very interesting question. Very interesting question. So I gave you only a part of the practice in today's session. Senses are the knower. You are the known. Clear? So we have to examine if the knower is changing, that is not a real knower. So after I did not wear the glasses at the time of the birth, but after 25 years I started wearing the glasses. So this knower, which are my eyes, have undergone a change. So it means it is not the real knower. Clear? First stage. Second stage. But the mind is the knower and you are the known. I have to examine if the mind changes. Mind is changeless. Okay. So that mind says, I know that I know the real self. I don't believe you. Then what is behind the mind? Behind the mind is the consciousness. It is the real knower. It will never say, I know the real self, because it is the real self. Did you get it? It is the real self. So there is a 3 stages of the knower that I did not talk about in this session. Senses are the knower to the physical world. Mind is the knower to the perceptible world. But the real knower is behind. So the master creates another operating principle. If any knower is changing, that will become the known. The property of known means it is constantly changing. So I have to re-examine. If any point of awareness is changing, where is my point of awareness? Dennis is very good. Next day, Dennis is very bad. Okay, now I realize. There are 2 knowers. It is coming from the mind. It is coming from the mind. Do you see? It is coming from the attachment or detachment. Now you can go on explaining it. But what is that awareness behind the mind? What is that consciousness which is reflecting into the mind that never changes? That is the real knower. That is why.
Basically,
yeah.
This principle does not apply to the real knower. It applies only to the mind.
Yes. Because we have to create a concept to help us to reach there. I will reach to your house, but all the tires are not working of the car. What the tire has to do with reaching your car? But it's related. It's not related, it's related. That is how the science works. And that is how the logic works. No, I cannot talk to you. Why? Because my phone is not. What phone has to do? Not talking to you, but it has to do. Relative level. You're right. You're right. What you said is right. So at the level of the mind, yes, we have to use these concepts. And then we go beyond the concept. Very good. Terry wants to say something.
It's on the same topic as Dennis's question, I think. At the end, you said something about an arrow. And I was thinking, is it the mind who knows the thing that's known and it's knowing it? But could you say that the real self is aware of itself?
Yes.
But you need language.
Yes.
And then you get in trouble.
You see, I instantly got this idea of arrow. This arrow is the mind. So when this arrow looks at the external world of the known, that is where the mind is. Now the same mind looks at the consciousness. What will happen to the mind? What will happen to this bulb when it looks at electricity? What will happen to the wave when it looks at the water?
It can't look at the water.
No, the moment it looks, the wave says that I'm water. I'm not the mind. Mind is gone. Mind is only because of the known outside. Mind is gone. Are you getting it, Dennis? Mind is gone. Now when the mind is gone, you are abiding in consciousness, and now first time you have such an immense joy. My goodness. Mind has created this ignorance which is causing this suffering, and now this mind has gone. Bulb has gone, the wave has gone. Everything is gone. The wave knows. Now the wave is pointing to the water. It will lose its identity. The mind loses its identity. Why it loses its identity? Because the mind is the matter. The bulb loses the identity to light itself because there is no light in the bulb. And we come to a conclusion and experience that we are consciousness. Dennis, your inquiry is satisfied? So yes, we are going it. I told you in the beginning, the holistic picture. Teacher is aware because he went through all the entire process. So once you are aware of the holistic picture, you say, I don't have any question. I'm there. But keep on asking the questions. That is all for today. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste.